Hello everyone and welcome. We are back and it is, been a hell of a time, hasn't it really, since of course releasing Menaphos yesterday. We're here live on Twitch and YouTube for the developer Q&A. Joining me I have Mod Chaplin, Mod Days and Mod Sober. So it's nice to have a collection, of course, of some of the Menaphos team. Yeah. It is just a fragment of the entire team itself, of course, who've put so much effort in and are continuing to do so. So how was it releasing yesterday?
The buzz was pretty unbelievable. Like I got we all kind of leapt onto our mod accounts and joined the players in game,
party,
which was pretty great. Yeah, but yeah, it was just awesome. Like I disguised as a penguin, walked around Menaphos, gave some tours, played some shifting tunes with people. Just got the chance to kind of be in. It's been really hype. It's been great. People have been really excited for it. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, we managed to sneak in some secret little bits of content as well that players discovered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to have gone down well. Like the secret order of the Slayers, people have discovered, and like the Slayer codex, and it's really nice seeing people get excited about that and start exploring the world, like revisiting all those old Slayer mobs again. Yeah, really good times.
Still a lot more secrets to come. Like I've only seen one of my 20 crocodile voice lines, which
voice.
Well, not voice lines.
Yeah, that's why you told a lie.
The wrestling is fake.
Technically, crocodiles don't actually have vocal cords, so I was wrong on a lot of accounts.
So if everyone was wondering why I was just doing some crazy pointing, first of all, I got told my microphone was scratching my necklace, so it was making an annoying noise. So, and also we didn't have the chat up, so we couldn't see what you guys were saying. So obviously we wanted to see what you were all saying. So I didn't think you got to mention obviously the hype of release. But I mean, what did you enjoy the most about it?
I guess just like interacting with so many people for the first time, because I've only been at Jagex for about a year now, and this is this is like the biggest thing that I've worked on here, and it's just like, whoa.
Yeah, it's all it's obviously pretty awesome. Now, obviously, of course, Menaphos is live. We should mention that until August the 5th, there is a 5% XP boost inside Menaphos and the Sophonim Slayer dungeon for activities inside there. So that'll be running for 2 months. And also this Friday, we have an open weekend going live, which will allow people who are free to play to jump in on members content. So a great time for you to check out Menaphos if you are a free to play player. And obviously, of course, for new people coming along. So feel free to spread the word. Any particular highlights based on the update itself that you're personally pleased with? Let's go again in order here.
Oh, I was watching the streams yesterday. Like I've been hopping around on streams. It's been amazing seeing people just interact with the content for the first time. I watched a run through,
telling them to get good.
There was a run through of the Krondis quest where he, one of the guys I was watching, forgot to bring weapons and just got beaten up by the Yukonduku, which was absolutely hilarious. But sadly, the Yukonduku, basically, he's meant to eat your food. And I haven't seen him actually eat anyone's food yet on stream. But he'll sit and he'll just eat through your backpack. So it was pretty good.
Yeah, so for me, I think I already mentioned it, Order of the Slayers. Other than that, the Jack of Spades quest, I forgot the name there. The Jack of Spades quest, like when you get on your magic carpet and you're flying across the desert. It's just such a really cool moment. It's like, and then, oh, how could I forget that? The cutscene when you first go in and it's just like, it has the title. It's like, oh, it feels so epic.
I do love how you can surge on the carpet.
Oh yeah, we had to include that.
We have to surge on the carpet, of course.
I think my favourite piece of feedback was actually about that. Someone decided that just because of that piece of content, they now want flying everywhere.
Just fly around the world of RuneScape with the carpet.
It should take about a week.
It's pretty awesome. So I got a couple of things actually I'd like to mention. So obviously you mentioned about the really awesome little introduction cutscene. Is that replayable anywhere?
Not at the moment. I think
are there plans to make it replayable somewhere?
I think we could probably do that.
I think it'd be pretty awesome because I know we have it in Prif, I believe. I think we have it in Prif, off the top of my head, but I think it'd be really cool because it's kind of an awesome thing that one of our animators put together. So it's kind of
maybe
something we should show.
Up on the door, maybe.
Yeah.
That could be a good chat.
Just one idea there. I just want to mention personally, I love how it kind of feels like a city with all the examines and everything that's added to it. There's obviously a ton of examines. Actually seeing people flood in kind of gave it that city feel, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean, just a couple of things there. So let's go through a couple of notes here then. We'll get to player questions in just a moment. So obviously there is discussion about people's experiences with reputation and the other pieces of content inside Menaphos. So first of all, is there anything that you are looking at changing with the Menaphos update in the coming weeks?
So yeah, we've seen a lot of criticism levelled at the way in which the reputation system is currently performing. The rates at which we're kind of recording aren't drastically what we were expecting. Obviously, we're very we're listening to feedback a lot. So we do have we've planned this kind of cadence. We do have things in game that become active as people do things that will change the way in which rep is done. So it's already kind of in place. This is what we're expecting. If after those things come into play, if it's still not if people still aren't happy with it, then we'll look into changing it. But at the minute, there are no plans to kind of change it because this is kind of as we expected. Things will change.
I think the other side of the coin as well is we did less of a good job at revealing all the things to the players. There's actually a couple of methods for gaining rep that we don't think that many players are actually taking part in. And if you were doing those things, you'd actually be getting quite a lot more rep.
I think we have a section where we're going to kind of show that, but is there name one? Is there one you can name right now, for example?
City quests
sure.
have been really, really, really under-utilised so far. And we've got a lot of problems with how you're onboarded onto those or told about them, which we're looking at fixing in the next update.
So just to clarify, when you complete a city quest, what do you get in terms of reputation?
At the moment, it's 100, but we are looking at changing that.
Okay, fair enough.
It's repeatable every hour. You have an introductory rate where you can do multiple city quests in a short amount of time, just to get you in on the action. But later on, you'll be doing about 1 an hour with other content mixed in. And that was the whole what we were trying to go for. Not like we want you to do however many hours we want the rep to take just in shifting tombs or just AFKing, fishing. We want some kind of variance with activities that pop up and disappear around the city, which is what you were mentioning, some stuff that's yet to be seen.
So in regards to city quests, so there's a couple of things I've seen personally, when they get given a random quest where they have to get, let's say, 1,000 seeds. Is there going to be a kind of a cap on a number of items? Because some of them, I think, seem a little too high, I think, when people go into it, which might put them off. So do we see there being a band in here?
For specific items, they have specific bands that they're expected to be. There are some things that are quite often specific cases, like Iron Men being asked to have so many seeds is a little bit worrying. So we're looking at specific things for Iron Men in particular. But any of the individual numbers, as and when we can look at the feedback from any of those, because at the moment not enough people have actually played city quests. I haven't really seen any feedback on it other than I didn't know where it was. So when we've got feedback, we'll know what we should change with regards to that.
Okay, so are you okay if I level a piece of feedback that I've seen, by all means? So obviously, for example, I've seen people get 1,000 seeds, and if it's a specific seed, the issue is that obviously if that seed has a 100 buy limit, which is every 4 hours, they're going to get 100 of it. They're essentially locked into that, or they have to abandon that. So is that kind of something that we can expect to change as well?
Yeah, those are definitely the kind of things that we'll look at, and that falls into kind of oversight, really. We're not intending you to go and just have to sit around and wait to finish a city quest because of buy limits.
Awesome. All right, so we've talked about that. We've got a lot more to go for, of course. We've seen players ask about completionist and trim requirements. I believe we mentioned on the news post what they were yesterday, but when can players expect to see a list of them in-game?
I think they will be coming out in a few weeks from now, so they'll probably come out when we release OREB. I believe that is the intended date. There's a few that we didn't list on there, like the completing the Slayer codex will be a trim requirement, but we didn't want to do that because it would ruin the surprise. So they'll be updated, but I don't think there's many more that to be included. But yeah, we'll get them in game in a few weeks. So
people are saying OREB question mark. We'll get to that in just a bit. Ooh, I imagine. Let's go. So another one here. So now Menaphos is out. What's the development process for it from here? For example, have we got new stuff coming up, or is anything like that?
So, obviously we're keeping our ear to the ground on any feedback changes. We had a few hotfixes out yesterday. We'll be putting hotfixes as necessary because as people discover the new content, there might be things that need changing. But I think it's 3 weeks, isn't it? Or 3 weeks from last from
so
Monday, so I guess it's 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
is kind of the OREB. So we're going to be working on some improvements of other things for then and more content, but mainly the update is OREB, who's kind of centered around that in about 3 weeks' time.
You obviously mentioned about hotfixes and stuff. I've put together a list of everything we've done, but we'll come to that in just a bit so we can clarify in case people have missed what we've done so far and what we're intending to do. We'll jump into some shifting tomb questions. Got a question here. Firstly, the gameplay is really good. I really enjoy the time trial feel of the game and the graphics are excellent. However, why should I as a max player be remotely interested in such a high intensity minigame when there are A, better money making methods out there, B, far more AFK methods of grinding rep, and C, far more AFK methods of grinding camouflage fragments? Three-part question there. So let's go with A, better money making methods. Why should they do shifting tombs in Menaphos out of anything compared to another method, etc.?
At the moment, the amount of people that have opened the gift offerings, which is one of the things you'll get from doing shifting tombs, has been kind of low, and I think you've yet to see the full extent of that drop table.
So gift offering, do you want to go a little bit into gift offerings and how people can get them?
Yeah, so they're kind of a loot box. They come in 3 sizes, small, medium and large. The bigger ones will give you more rolls on the drop table. And you can get small and mediums from doing shifting tombs, and you can get medium and large from doing city quests. If you have a Look of the Dwarf ring, then you'll be getting more of them in shifting tombs, and they'll also affect the drop table. But not only can you open them for loot and money, you can hand them in to the faction leaders around Menaphos for reputation. That's one of the things that we were undersold to people when I was watching streams. Most of the people were just opening them for loot, which is good. But then they were saying the rep rate's pretty low, and I would have to jump in and say, hey, did you know you could give that to someone and you get more rep?
Do you know the reps for them?
Yeah, the small ones are 450.
I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know off the top of my head.
I know the large one is 1,350.
Okay.
The medium is 900. And I can't remember the small.
Probably around 450.
I think someone's turned it in because it's saying 350 for small.
350 small, great, cool.
But yeah, okay. In regards to far more AFK methods of grinding reps, obviously they're comparing it to doing on the world surface skilling in fishing, for example, as one AFK method for rep. How does that versus shifting tombs in terms of rep gain?
No, that's kind of the trade-off. Like, I mean, we wanted that if you did want to kind of go AFK and maybe do something else, or just if you prefer an AFK experience to gain rep, we wanted that to be available to you. But we didn't want the rep rates to really be comparable to shifting tombs. So if they are a bit closer, I think that's generally due to the optimization of shifting tombs. When we did it in Office, we could get about 10k. I would expect people in groups to maybe get about 8k. Solo, it's a little bit lower than that. But I'd say as groups, I'd expect to just upwards of 8k rep an hour.
I think one of the big differences that we're seeing in rep rates for shifting tombs as well is when you go with a group of people that you know versus like the group of random.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
The coordinated groups are getting much higher rep than the randoms because obviously there's just much more cooperation if they're on Discord or something like that. They can like talk, they can like decide who's doing which sarcophagus, etc.
Yeah, and I think like it's to kind of give people a perspective, the kind of optimal rates we'd kind of balanced the reputation around, maybe around 6k. So shifting tombs gives a significant rise on that. Like it's, I think it's quite a good rate really for some more lean forward content. Whereas if you kind of go fish venture and boost your fishing, you can get something comparable to that, but not quite as much.
And that was the intent, right? We want you swap around and do one and the other, not sit and do shifting tombs for 40 hours straight.
Sure.
This is a pretty cool question. I don't know how viable it is to do, but can we get some form of interface update to show the experience currently gained from objectives we have achieved to judge if it is better to leave rather than try to gain all the corruption?
There's probably something we can do to sort of indicate that. I saw someone asking similar with rep as well, wanting to see how much rep they'd gain. Those are sort of things we could like look at improving or doing maybe. Yeah.
All right, awesome.
Just on tombs completion, actually, like a little window into the mechanics behind it. I've seen a lot of people that would say, "Oh, I'm just going to skip the sarcophagus because I can't be bothered." You'd actually get quite a big rep penalty if you get 0 of any of the categories of things. So if you got no urns, you'd get pretty bad XP and rep. So even if you don't complete it, you'll get a better rate if you do at least some of each individual objective.
Yeah, so one thing I want to mention, because I saw it in chat quickly before we were talking about tombs, we understand there's been a rope glitch that's been happening. We do have a fix in place for that. So
yeah, it's done.
very soon,
it's out.
Oh, it's out,
Yeah.
fantastic.
I broadcasted that about an hour and a half ago, about an hour-ish ago.
Then the person who asked that, there you go.
I'll go to the list of stuff that we've done in the duration. So obviously when we launched, we had the high scores, where if you were basically 5.4 billion, you were 120 Slayer, you were the first person to log out, log in, or other way around, you'd get number 1. Obviously this was not something we said was going to happen. What we promised is what the scores would retain the same. So we reverted the high scores back to what they were from Sunday to retain the validity of it. We have had the appropriately named, I think it's Mod Atlas, I believe it is, who has been working on a tool today to fix the high scores, hopefully for tomorrow morning. So they should display properly with the new total levels, but also keep, I believe, LeMay, who's number 1, at the top. Other fixes in the way, I'm going to go through these very quickly. You can now speak to Conus, I guess is how you say the name, to allow passage to softening from Menaphos, from inside Menaphos. We have also fixed the invisible rope, rope going missing during shifting tombs. I do this all the time. Shifting tombs, as well as floors going missing in dungeoneering. So nice 2 fixes there.
Surely, the rope glitch fix. People might need to restart their own.
Yeah. So just to clarify as well, if you haven't restarted your client all day because you're still making gains, you just need to restart your NXT client, and then you'll be fine for that. Excuse me. We are also planning to fix certain clue scrolls that are in the water right now. That is not in yet. We are definitely planning to do that, though. I can tell you that. And also, we stopped the barrage of world broadcasts from the Golden Path, and they now go to your friends only. We kind of had the Golden Path invasion yesterday.
Sorry.
which was good fun all the same. All right, so let's go to the reputation system. We've got a little bit of a section here so we can talk about it a bit here. So why are quests and rewards locked behind reputation requirements?
I think if you look at kind of like where a lot of other MMOs kind of approach these kind of situations, they will time lock a lot of quests content. It allows people to kind of do it, simultaneously, and it means that a expansion kind of lasts a little bit longer, and people don't just run through it in the first few days and then kind of post about it. We didn't really feel comfortable doing that. We wanted to kind of do it, well, if you're a player who likes to play a bit more, you should get access to the content sooner, but we didn't want to really enable people to just blitz through maybe the entire Menaphos expansion within 2 or 3 days, post on Reddit like, I waited 8 months for this, why have I finished it in 2 days? And so we kind of tied it into the reputation system. We thought it would be a good way to kind of facilitate what a lot of the mid-level players who are playing through Menaphos would be doing normally, and wouldn't necessarily force them to go massively out of their way. The XP rates, are really, really strong. Like especially kind of like the wood cutting with Crystallize is the best wood cutting in game as far as I know. And like a lot of the other reputation rates, especially in the Slayer and other places, are really, really competitive. So we wanted it to kind of sit alongside what you'd be doing normally, and enable people to kind of stagger through and enjoy the update over a larger period of time.
Okay, so there's a couple things obviously that have come up from discussions of it. Obviously the chat as well, getting involved in it. There's a couple of, it's the first time, I might be wrong here, first time I believe where you kind of have to go on a grind for rep to get to, let's say, a quest, for example. This is completely different in the way we've done it, I believe. I don't think we've done something like this before. So what was, I know you just kind of explained it there, but I mean, like the approach for it, how long are you expecting players to grind to get to these different quests? I think there's free, right, from the reputations themselves. Or it's free, right?
Free quest.
Yeah.
So
how long are you expecting them to get there, is the question, really.
So I believe that to unlock the final quest, Fight Club, it should take you around about 45 to 50 hours is sort of like the guide
Yeah,
sort of point.
It depends. If you're like, maxing out on shifting tombs,
You might be
you can
able to.
probably get like 35 hours, I think, because it's the second top, maybe just under 40 hours. If that kind of dips. And that's not necessarily has to be done in one go. You don't have to spend 40 hours on your computer straight away. That can be spread out over a while.
I think this is one of the core reasons that we had the amnesty period as well. Like we saw a lot of players going like, oh, why are we doing an amnesty period? And this is one of these things. I think a lot of people are like trying to rush the content. It's like, actually, you've got 3 months. Like, if you don't want to do like a massive grind, just do like 1 hour a day. Just, you can do that, go and do some bossing, do some Slayer, do some other skills, do whatever you want to do, and then come back, and you've got that time to mix it up.
So, I mean, when it comes down to, just as a general question, based on, I know it's only been 24 hours, but based on what you've seen, based on what you've seen from posts, reputation gains, etc., are you happy with where they are right now, or are there considerations to add new methods of getting it, or changing certain things?
There are some tweaks.
Okay.
Certainly, but it's more like everything compared to shifting tombs. I think shifting tombs is where we want it. It's other, it's other things that we want to make competitive as well, to give you options. You can do some tombs. You can then go and do a city quest. You can go and do some other activities that we'll be seeing soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to kind of get an interesting cadence kind of going down, so it started a bit slower and then got a bit faster in terms of gains. We'll be seeing. I think, that we've always kind of planned for it to start a little bit slower, then go a bit faster due to some stuff in the game, so we'll see how that pans out.
So there's a couple of suggestions that have come in from players. I'm just going to read them out here. So I got three. I suggest adding some sort of plagues, i.e. a variant of Demon Flash Mob / Goblin Raids, in which you help the Menaphos guard slay escape pests from softening for extra rep, as maybe one idea. Or another one, which is any chance for the faction outfits unlocked through reputation become items that boost reputation for that faction, instead of just being cosmetics. It can make them more rewarding.
So for the first one, there may be some content that hasn't been unlocked yet that is kind of along those lines.
Okay.
It's not exactly that, obviously, but it's along
City
those
events.
Yeah, city events, like those sort of things where things trigger in the city and it mixes up your routine. So like if you're fishing or woodcutting, like you might want to come away from these activities and do this for a little bit and then go back to what you're doing or switch it up. For the faction outfits, I don't think we have any plans to do that.
Would it be possible to change it so you can get enhanced enhanced rep with a faction for training skills in that faction section? So if you were to say, I can't remember unfortunately the faction's name, but if you had the one where the woodcutting or the Arcadia trees are, if you had them inside, yeah. So do you ever see that happening? Maybe
we talked about it, but we thought particular combinations of specific skills and their factions kind of imbalanced other ones. So the one was ports and fishing. Everyone wants to go in AFK fishing in the ports, obviously, so no one would do any of the other factions. So we thought the balance is too off there for us to do faction-specific things. That said, there are other options to get you to move around and try out different skills that we've thought about, she might say.
Yeah, I think a lot of the impetus behind the reputation system was to give you guys as much choice over what you wanted to do as possible. That's kind of, people have kind of drawn, drawn the comparisons between the overall city rep and the rep bars. We kind of wanted you to be able to choose who you wanted to do any of the 4 rep factions to actually go towards the city rep. And in the same way, we didn't necessarily want to shackle you to do fishing. If you wanted to go to the ports, you could do anything you kind of like. So player choice in reputation gain, in the reputation gain is kind of pivotal to the system, I think. So
I know you've been writing up a couple of notes about specific methods of gaining rep and stuff like that. Should we get ready to head over to the PC soon if you want to start showing them?
Sounds good to me.
We'll just double check with Mod John if we're good to go for that. We good? Yeah? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Too late.
we're going to let Mod Chaplin go over, then I'll start talking for a little bit and then we'll intro him. But on a personal note, first of all, it's been, I believe, 6 months plus, right?
6 months, yeah.
You guys must be obviously, were there But then, of course, the real work now begins in trying to do trying to make sure it's as good as can be.
Yeah. Exactly.
Where's the thrill in doing the upcoming updates? Because obviously there's so much still more to talk about.
Yeah.
But I mean, where's the next path of excitement, really?
So obviously, like the next thing I'm working on is the mystery boss, the Magister, which we know nothing about.
Apart from
we don't know his name or anything like that.
He, she, it. We don't know anything about that because I wouldn't reveal anything accidentally on stream like that.
What did I miss? Was this a stream I wasn't in?
No, just this stream, yeah.
Are you feeling good?
I see.
Do you want us
I'm
to
really
call a
on
doctor?
point.
So yeah, like,
after you, Shawnee.
so yeah, basically that's the next big thing I'm working on. But yeah, it's just really exciting seeing all the Slayer stuff because that's like the main thing that I worked on. Watching all like the codex, it's so exciting watching people like fill that out and like unlock the mysteries of it all.
We don't talk about leaks on this stream, people. You know how this goes.
It's the next gen of bosses.
Really? Oh, really? Okay. Wow. Okay, I didn't realise we got to that point now. All right. So, Chaplain, are you good to go?
Yeah, I am indeed.
All right. Awesome. We're going to pass it over to Have a Good Journey for just a second. I hate you, mod days. Let's do this.
Cool. So we were just going to go over some tips and tricks that we were kind of looking at people's streams, watching people play. We didn't really see a lot of people using these, so I just wanted to highlight them out. First and foremost, in the reputation interface, you can open through here. You can do a fast favorite by right-clicking Set Exact Faction. That's a really easy way to get there. You don't have to go in and click the star. That's just something we didn't see a lot of people using. If you're watching this, that's a thing you can do.
Oh, also, my interface is nowhere near optimal because, unfortunately, I'm on the resolution. I think it's 1368 by 768, not 1080. My interface, I had a 1080 interface, and it's completely out of the way.
I also noticed that your reputation 0, Shawnee. What gives, man?
My reputation 0?
Yeah, man. You must have been on your tube playing, man. But something else you can do as well is if you right-click on a shifting tomb, you can quick travel. And that means you can go to any part of the system, the city really quickly. That's really, really useful, I always find. And I would recommend doing as much of that as you can. Something else you can do as well is crystallizing the Arcadia trees are a really, really awesome way to actually be able to... these are, as I was talking about the kind of best wood cutting rates in the game, there's something I'd really, really recommend doing if you're the right level for it, just giving the crystallize a go. However, if you do not crystallize, you get access to the Arcadia logs, which we have been balancing to be really, really, really good sources of simple parts. So you can kind of disassemble those and get some fantastic stuff off the back of that.
So you're expecting people to make the equipment siphons, divine charges and stuff like that off the top of the Arcadia logs?
That's the plan, yeah. That's like, we tried to think of some ways that, although this is a mid-level hub, we wanted to open it up to high-level players too. And, making the tree crystallize XP really, really good, and also making the logs a fantastic source of simple parts, where some ways we kind of thought to make a lot of these things kind of viable for high-level players. Other things you can do as well, if you go in here, and you manage to get one of your reputations up to number 4, you can unlock not only district teletabs to each district, which are super useful in themselves, but you can also get a teletab up to the Shifting Tombs. You can get a teletab to the Slayer Dungeon, which is super, super useful. And you can make those in your player-own house. So that's pretty awesome.
Do you know the requirements to make them? Is it just a rep and then, but you need materials as well, or is it just that rep game?
I'm not sure. I should probably check. We can give it a go if you want. But I'd have to...
variable states and all that wonderful stuff. So I want to talk about the booster. Can we hover over number 8, if that's okay? So,
of course, yeah.
So we have the number 8, which is the skill and boost. So how effective... So what's the most effective one based on what you've seen? Like, so would it be the woodcutting one? Would it be the mining one? Which one do you think would benefit the most if they were to just hammer out a district and get towards that one?
I'm not sure. Like, from what I've seen, if you want the best XP rate, the woodcutting one is by far the one I'd recommend, so the Imperial one. However, if you're looking just to kind of get as much rep as possible, I'd recommend doing Shifting Tombs. But regardless, if you're trying to get as much rep as possible, I would recommend the fishing one, because that can actually quite drastically increase the high chance, which means you're catching the bigger fish, which give more rep. So that's pretty awesome. One other thing we had to mention as well is if you're playing Shifting Tombs, I'd really recommend using stuff like super energy pots and the Ugrog, and using the Ugrog as well to try and increase the amount of run energy you have, and that should make it just that little bit quicker. So I'd really recommend kind of finding ways to boost your own speed, boost your resource collection rate to kind of push your rep up.
So someone saying in the chat, why can't we crystallize sandstone mine? I believe because it is a mineral source. It's a concentrated source, I believe, so you can crystallize those ones compared to, I believe, the other ores, the other ones which are ores which can be crystallized. Is that right? I think.
Well, I mean, in that perspective, but also from a kind of a design standpoint, you know, we've so long had like quite a low level tree kind of ruling the roost as far as crystallized goes. So I think there's still a place, obviously, but Acadia kind of have carved their way out. Whereas we don't really want to get in the way of certain stones. We don't want to, you know, endanger a lot of the kind of top level mining content. So from that perspective, the mineral is also a good thing. But also, you know, the reason we kind of made them sandstone and not something else was kind of because of that reason. Yeah, we don't kind of want to endanger high level content.
Should we take a look at one of the city quests as well? Do you want to show us where you can grab them, just in case, obviously, because obviously we talked about it, so let's have a little look.
So if you want to find out where your active city quest is, we need to go talk to Erlich the Camel. He's just by the
I respect you for not mod teleporting, by the way, even though you
could.
could.
To mod teleport?
Of course you are, you're on the mod account.
Nice. Cool, you know, I was just being legit.
There you go.
Oh, people make fun of him, man. Look, he's just a nice little camel. Look at him, man, he's great. So, do you have rumors about city quests? You should do one of the city quests. Time to time, need help. I would guarantee it. So it looks like we'd actually have one active.
We're in live. We're in live. I told you we're on live.
Oh man, well you haven't got a city quest actually set up, so we can't do one.
Can you show us how to set up one?
They happen like so. It's
on the hour thing, right? So, yeah, rumors about city quests.
We don't have one active currently, so we can't do one.
On a timer.
Yeah. They're on a timer. So it's not necessarily a daily, but there is a certain timer we'd have to wait for one to become active, and then the more we do, the longer that refresh rate is. So it's kind of, it is timed, sadly, so we won't be able to do one right now, and because it's in live, we can't do debug procs.
Yeah, because we're not allowed to break the stuff. Okay, cool. So obviously we mentioned about shifting tips. Obviously, you mentioned about doing energy potions and Uglog run pulls. People have said, why don't we? Why can't they get just a replenish of run energy after finishing the shifting tombs? Was that ever considered at all?
It was basically in all kind of branches of this content. We've wanted to really reward player knowledge, and for people who do want to kind of boost their boost their experience and get higher rep rates. That's there for them. You can see that in kind of like in the boosts in fishing, in mining, etc., like stone spirits, that kind of thing. We wanted to actually reward people who went for like the Uglog and the super energy run potions. So we've made those things more valuable by not kind of giving you ways of compensating for that actually in the run. I've just noticed as well. I actually have a few. Sova was talking about a few of the offerings, so we can kind of go over that now. You can use it on, if I wanted some, so that's 1,350.
And that's for a large, so obviously I can give you a nice little boost there.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Or we can crack one open, let's see what's in there. Bucket of sand, pot of cream, goat horn dust, and green charms. So I think I'm just going to give them...
Terrible.
Yeah, that was a pretty bad, that was an unfortunate roll.
Yeah, I'm giving them straight to here. But yeah, you can get this from the city quests as we kind of outlined.
So ideally what you want to do is kind of either do them in bulk or, as Soba mentioned, take, for example, look at the Dwarfs Rune to Shifting Tombs, and there's a chance you can roll and get a medium gift offering, and that's a bit of a chunky rep as well. So it's useful for your runs if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I really like the kind of the gift offerings. You can get some really nice exclusive items in there. Like you can kind of get upwards of maybe 4 mil an offering. So they drop pretty regularly and they're pretty lucrative. So I'd recommend either opening them, or if you want the rep and you don't really want to spin the wheel, then I'd definitely recommend giving them into your rep leaders as well. Do you want to buy bread or something? Is there a reason why you're on the bread stall? I'm at the bread stall, so we're just getting on the bread stall. Other than that, I think that's all kind of the little tips we kind of have on here. Oh no, there is something else as well, actually. Before I do.
Also, something else I've noticed is randomly as well, you'll see a plus 25 rep. Are you able to talk about that as well?
Yeah, so for the skills that aren't directly covered by reputation, I don't have any bait, do I? Oh no, oh nice, mate. Sorry. So, for the skills that aren't covered by rep, there's actually like token reputation that's kind of gained throughout using them, and the plus 25 rep is something you'll see as basically that's what happens if you use any skill within Menaphos that isn't the ones that we've kind of mandated
disassembling, etc.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Disassembling things like smithing, all of the skills apart from your hunter, mining, thieving, and woodcutting that kind of gained in Menaphos.
Awesome.
I'm just going to find this dude.
Oh.
So there should be a fisherman around here that I can sell my fish to. I actually only found out about this today. I didn't even know he was here.
It's kind of what happens when you're working on one specific. So
Yeah.
actually, while we're here, so
Is this it?
which bit of
Here he is.
content
No,
were you
that's
involved
not
with working on? Since we can kind of talk about that now, which is awesome.
So I built a lot of the quests and dialogue. I worked on the back end of the reputation system. I have had my kind of hand in a lot of other content as well. For some reason, my mind's blanking. I've worked on lots of other stuff too. But yeah, mainly the quests and the back end of the rep. So that's kind of been my thing.
So actually, something I want to mention, when you click on the Menaphos icon for the reputation interface,
Yeah.
that was actually, that was kind of a late addition, wasn't it? The actual interface itself. So that kind of worked in very nicely in regards to displaying it. So,
Yeah, the
I mean, how was that?
The reputation was, well, this was by far the hardest thing I had to
Yeah.
work on, the interface. Interfaces are pretty difficult, and how it looked now, I could show everyone in evolution, but I made it, and then I kind of hand it over to Mod Campfire and Mod Roy, who are kind of our
Campfire, amazing.
who are kind of our specialist interface makers, and they shined it really nicely. So a lot of this stuff was in place before I gave it to them, but they have a really nice eye for this kind of stuff and made it really nice. So huge shout out to those guys.
All right. I think we'll obviously pick up what we can from the chat, and then we can answer it back on the couch. But I think, are we good to go on that one?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic.
All right, awesome. All right, let's do this. So we're going to throw it back over to Daze and Silver, who are still there, being very patient. All right. So we've got a ton of stuff to talk about. Let's talk about Oreb, shall we?
No, the Magister.
The
The Magister.
But you said Oreb.
The Magister.
The Magister. Let's talk about the Magister. All right. So, first of all, what the hell is the Magister?
He's Oreb.
Oh, for God's sake. Stop it! Stop it!
You opened the floodgates.
I'm going.
All right, go for it.
So yeah, the Magister is obviously there's the first gate at the end of the Softenham Slayer dungeon. We don't know what's behind there. But now we know there's a boss, and he's basically he's just there like.
Oh, so it's a he.
It is a he.
There we go. There's another leak right there.
Oreb's a middle name.
That's two.
Basically, he is manipulating a lot of the souls down there. Like he's very close to the underworld and everything, and he's got his own devious plans that he is operating on, and the player will be able to go in and fight them and basically temporarily put a stop to them and get some really nice loot in the process.
So you know what I'm going to start asking you now, because it's it's bosses. So when it comes to generalized questions now, solo or team?
It is a solo boss.
Solo boss.
Yes.
So on average, time in the boss.
It's still up in the air, but it's probably going to be a 2 to 3 minute sort of fight. Like we're not going for super long. It should be like quite a nice compact fight.
What gear are we talking for this boss?
Pretty high end, though, hopefully.
So what's he, ATT now?
Like so, this fight has been designed a little bit differently. Obviously, it's a much smaller fight than a fight like Telos, which has your 5 stages, or your next AOD where you need your group of 7 people. So instead, what we've done is we've designed this fight to be a DPS race. So it's all about just trying to get the boss down as quickly as possible, like deal as much damage as possible. So you're going to want to take like your power gear, you're going to want to take like the best weapons you have, and like that the strategy is going to be all about optimizing that to the extreme.
Is he immune to any? Is he weak to any styles or anything like that, or will all 3 styles be okay?
All 3 styles should be fine.
Awesome. All right. I imagine more people are going to pop in questions regarding the boss itself. We'll kind of come to it. I assume we can't talk about what it can drop or what rewards you can get from it.
I'm not going to talk about that now, but if you've paid attention to what items have been added to the game, you might have a clue as to what will be coming.
All right. Will it drop the feathers of Mahat? Or there was a certain way we said it. You got to say it probably with a high pitched voice. Mahat. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, is it dropping them at all?
At the moment, no, but there's no reason it couldn't.
Okay.
We could just have it drop like 100 at a time or something. It's a
Will
nice
it,
little
will
reward.
it drop blood bones?
No, blood bones are a mystery that people have yet to discover.
Right. Well, so you can actually get them, can you?
I don't know, can you?
Oh, for goodness. Let's just... so let's talk about the Slayer dungeon as well. Obviously, something that was kept quiet in the run-up and on release until players discovered it. Obviously, we have the codex as well.
Yeah.
I believe it's 146, is that correct?
146, yeah.
So
151 almost.
So if we're talking time here, how long are you expecting players to fill out that entire codex?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. It's going to be maybe like 50-ish hours. I'm going to ballpark that. I have no idea there, honestly. It's balanced quite generously, so it basically compares your Slayer level versus the Monster Slayer level, so the more you out-level it, the better chance of catching it you have. So basically, like your goblins, your chickens and everything like that, you should just be able to power through all of them really, really quickly. And when you first unlock the order, you get 25 free Ushabtis, I think that's how you pronounce it, and then you get 2 for every level over 99, and then when you're 120, you get another 4. So you get up to 50 free Ushabtis.
Do you want to explain what they are, just in case people haven't gotten to that content yet as well?
Basically, they're a Pokeball.
Okay.
If you can imagine it like
a
that.
legally distinct Pokeball.
Yeah. Like that.
I wasn't expecting a literal, yet it's that.
They're like a monster sphere.
They'll understand it then.
A Slayer orb.
It's basically a soul vacuum.
Right, there we go. That works okay for me.
Suck it up.
So a couple of questions here regarding it. In the player-owned Slayer dungeon, why are we limited to 5 spawns per room? Can we have 10 instead?
No, you can't. The reason I'm just going to shut you down right now. So the reason why we have 5 is because we always want like the base world to be the best place to fight mobs. But this dungeon is meant to be like somewhere where you can have your own little private area. Like you'll be able to specialize it to certain mobs. So I saw someone earlier add 5 Night Hills to one of their rooms. So it's just a nice little place. You're not obviously don't mean that. But yeah, you can basically specialize, and like you could have like one of each mob in there. Like you could have like one Ripper Demon, which means then that you're not gonna get aggro from another one.
So if we talk more of the unique NPCs, so for example, your gemstone dragons, if you were to add them, do you still have to pay the cost to kill them?
Yes, you still have to pay.
You still have to pay the cost, okay. So in regards to the codex, I believe there are a couple of bonuses based on the amount you get, is that correct?
Yeah, so...
Are you able to go through them? If it's okay?
There are 2. There's the story of the Order of the Slayers, which is basically played out in 6 murals, and Phaser, the ghost in there, will explain the history as you go through. So you think you get the first one at 10, and then you get 30, 50, 70, and every 20 after that. And then at 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, you get an XP boost to your Slayer when you have your Slayer helm equipped. So at 20, you get a 1% XP boost, 40, 2%, all the way up to 5% at 100.
So do you need the codex to acquire the soul, or is it just that container?
It's just the Ushabti.
And I believe is it 50 for a teleport?
Yes, yeah, you get the teleport at 50 as well.
Yeah. Okay, so obviously, by all means, keep the questions and stuff coming in, and we'll go from there. In regards to the codex itself, I mean, it looks like a crazy thing to develop from the interface itself. How was that?
It was really exciting until QA got their hands on it. And basically, if you take 146 monsters out of where they're meant to be spawned and put them somewhere else, things tend to break occasionally. So like some of the monsters weren't dropping any of their drops, some of them weren't doing any of their special attacks. So it was just a bit frantic, like trying to get everything fixed up. Some of them have been disabled, like wall beasts. It's like there is no wall, like there'd just be like an arm draping out, and no one wants to fight them at 99 Slayer, so throw them out.
One of my favourites was how you had the black outlines of every single one of the monsters, and then the cow was just.
I was about to say that, man. Oh yeah, that was the only thing I ever heard about was how the cow manages to persist through the shaded model somehow.
Beef is too strong.
It was a big mystery.
Oh man. So just going back to the Magister very quickly. Requirements for are there any requirements to get into actually fight him?
You will need 115 Slayer.
115 Slayer to go in and fight the boss. Okay, cool.
And a key.
And a key, yes. The keys drop from all the mobs in the sled. And
so kind of like Ascension then?
Exactly,
Okay, cool.
oh, and I've seen it asked quite a bit on the forums and stuff. It's 1 key per kill.
1 key per kill of the boss?
Of the boss, yeah.
Okay, wow. There we go. There's a bit of a... I imagine the key hunt is going to be on now for everyone in the run-up to it.
People are stocking up, yeah.
So
is it boostable?
Is 115 Slayer boostable?
Don't know if it's at the moment, but sure, I'll make it boostable if you want.
There we go. Wilder Pies.
Wilder Pies are in.
There you go. So in regards to... actually, question here. Can we get souls from elite Slayer monsters to put in our dungeon? If not, is there a chance of spawning elites in our personal dungeon while on task?
At the moment, you can't catch them. I'm not actually sure if they'll spawn in there because they spawn them on their death queue, so there is the potential that they would spawn in there, but I'm not sure.
That could be interesting.
But you can't catch an elite and put it in there.
All right, so we'll go to... We have so much to go through, it's insane, but that's part of the fun. A bit more generalised questions here. You mentioned the Desert Quest series isn't going to be tied up with Menaphos. When can we expect its conclusion?
Soon, TM.
There we go.
There's kind of two paths really. There's one that kind of deals with the gods, which we've kind of touched on a little bit in the quest here, but we've mostly been tying up the politics and the intrigue around Menaphos. We hope we've brought that to a good conclusion, but you guys will have to tell us if that's the case. However, there's still some kind of good stuff around the gods that we'll be bringing out at a later date. So there's quite a bit more chunky content to deal with there. But I feel we've done a good job of kind of bookending Menaphos with the quests and say no more.
All right, so this is a question. I'm going to do a quick reply to this and throw it over to you. Why does the loot chest in Slayer Dungeon penalise you for using it? I'm guessing at the time this question was written, they were not aware that there is that cap. Do you want to explain the limit cap on the items?
I think there's two things that I think what they're actually asking is when you toggle it off, it has a 20% chance of doubling the loot that you'll get. And the reason for that is because there's a little bit more effort in, like you're managing your inventory then. So you're not really being punished because you're probably going to lose more time by picking it up, but like there's that benefit of if a nice drop goes on the floor, then it gets doubled, and then like you're more likely to pick it up. I imagine the people who are toggling it off just don't want a lot of the loot anyway. And then your point there is that the chest actually has a 30 slot limit to it, so you can have 30 different items in there. So if you do notice that items start dropping to the floor, best thing to do is run to one of the chests and then just bank some of the stuff. It's probably stuff on the rare drop table that have been added in that's filled it up. So just throw some stuff to your bank and then you'll free up some spaces and it'll all go in there again.
So I guess what it comes down to then, a question that has actually come up here is, why was the cap put to 30?
Technical limitation.
Technical, okay, cool. Fair enough. Are we expecting to see even more Slayer monsters added as the weeks and months go by between the 99 to 120 range?
I mean, 99 to 120 is like the forever of Slayer now. So of course, yeah, like, you know, like with future expansions and stuff, with future quests, like we can fill that with like so much content. Like there's so much more we can do with Slayer. Like it's our most popular skill. So of course we want to do more with it.
Awesome. Excuse me. Who's behind the NPC's puntastic dialogues in Menaphos and the priceless examine text?
It's a group effort. It was a group effort.
So yeah, I know. I'm a pun merchant. I do love them, but John.
You're a pun peddler.
Sova is also very good with the puns. So you've been peddling the puns as well, and it can't be forgotten. Mod Stew with his amazing examines.
Can you give me some examples? As they've asked.
So, oh man. So many of them.
You need to do something about the anvil thief. He keeps making a bolt for the door.
The anvil thief. The anvil thief's my favourite. Everyone got told about the anvil thief and making the bolt for the door. But there's a few other ones as well.
It's like give the pharaoh an inch and he'll think he's a ruler.
Yeah. There's a good few puns. Like I love the rug that says rugged. That was one of Stuart's as well. And the barrel that wants to be in the special task force.
For God's sake, man.
Particular favourites. So,
Let's just keep going for another hour. Do it.
Yeah.
Can we break you, Shawnee?
Oh, man. So this is a question that was put in but has since been hotfixed in, which was, will the bridge between Menaphos and Sophonim be opened? Technically, you can now go from Menaphos to Sophonim via talking to, unfortunately, I can't remember the name of the NPC.
Yeah. However, that requires completion of contact.
Good shout. There you go. And that's a quest reward, as they said, or am I missing a possible quest reward? There's your quest reward right there. Are there hidden updates that is yet to be discovered? Pets, Easter eggs, etc.?
Well, I saw a picture of an Easter egg on Reddit, so, I mean, that must be it, right?
No,
we have to talk about I've seen them on Reddit and forums, which is the fishing, I think it's the squid?
Squeck the squid.
Squeck. And the
corrupted scorpion.
That's one.
That is a super special pet. Let's just say look around Menaphos and keep your eyes open. It's not from skilling or any particular things like that.
Got it. Excuse me. Regarding the locked doors with gems and cats behind them, do they unlock by themselves some days, or is there a series of events the player has to do for them to be unlocked? You don't have to tell us specifically how, but they want a bit of information.
Yeah. There are a mixture of things. So some of the doors will open based on things that you've done, and some of them will open of their own accord. Yes, I think some of them have been discovered around outside Menaphos as well. So I'm not going to reveal anything about the collection system, I don't think.
But it's out!
It wouldn't be funny if we told you, though.
Yeah, it's like, I could go and write the Wikipedia entry for it.
Sean, do you know what theme of the year is?
Don't even go there right now. Don't go with the whole surprise theme, okay? Yeah, I know it's a surprise theme.
It's a surprise.
Wow. All right. So, this is probably one for JD, actually. Is the Golden Path Challenge the community challenge outside the gates of Menaphos you talked about in the last Menaphos video?
I don't know what one they were talking about, but that was a community event. That's all I can say.
Okay.
It might be that Model Spawn has to answer that one because I'm not sure.
Oh, I should mention, actually, I believe there's going to be an AMA, right, about the Golden Path. Is that correct?
That's what we want to do next week.
Okay, cool. So there will be an AMA next week. We're going to have details in next week's news post for information on that. So you can kind of find out the thought process behind the Golden Path and why we did it. All right, a couple of requests / suggestions here. Is there any possibility of tying in the construction skill, I'm great at talking today, with the new sunken pyramid, maybe to allow you to adjust the number of creatures in the room or give access to prayer altars?
Maybe in the future. Still got a boss to make, but sure, maybe we can add some things to make it a bit nicer in the future.
Why is the Grand Library... Oh, my goodness. Why is the Grand Library so seemingly empty? There's nothing readable. Can we find books to place there?
So
that will be coming out next week.
Is it next week?
Well, no, sorry.
So
in this month.
With Here Shall Not Be Nicked?
Man.
That same big chunk of content, all the player competition stories will be in there too, and some ones written by internally as well.
It's going to be interesting to kind of just see how it all comes together, actually, because the environment around that area is absolutely gorgeous to look at. So it's going to be great when obviously the books start to come in and obviously you can check them out. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah,
just to explain why it was delayed. There was actually so many good entries that we didn't want to just limit it to a few because translation had so much. Like they had so
They
many words to do. They were so busy.
overworked.
Any idea of total word counts? Just for
I
curiosity.
think it was around 30 to 35,000.
Is that the entire project, or is that just the
It
library
was more
books?
than that.
I believe-
It was 30,000 before they started complaining to
oh,
us.
yeah.
So while we get the chance, I want to give localization a huge shout out because
Yeah, I wanted
along with the
to
city
wait
quests,
until because we can kind of just do that in one go and kind of just catch everyone who's been involved in it.
Specifically, localization have been absolute champions this update. The city quests were incredibly difficult for them to adapt to, so huge shout out to them.
How long from start to finish did you work on this update, including absolutely everything that came of it, and how big was the team for Menaphos?
There was
there was 11 of us, including community, and there was someone else who was involved in development but wasn't necessarily working on the development day-to-day basis. But yeah, 11. I counted our room this morning. So
okay.
I've just got confirmation that the Elite Slayer monsters do spawn in the player-owned Slayer dungeon.
Oh, nice.
There you go. I have just got confirmation on that one. Can we get our Menaphos journal enchanted by Urluk, I guess is how you say it, so that he can use it to notify us when someone is looking for us? So might be useful for when someone's looking for you for a city quest and stuff. Are you going to write that down?
That's a good one.
I approve.
I like that a lot. That is premium.
Yeah, we're looking at a number of things to change about
that's a really
discoverability.
Yeah, that's a cool little idea actually. If you guys want to keep asking questions, we'll try and go what we can. But if we talk about this from just everything as an overview, I mean, towards the end, there were obviously so many people wanting to get involved and help out in the project. Obviously, the main core Titan team, there were, how many of you were there in total?
That was the 11.
There was 11, okay,
but in
cool.
addition to that, we had obviously the audio, localization, community management, just countless.
We had people helping us out from the Ninja team, live events team.
All trying to chip in and add their little bit of flares to it and stuff, which is always pretty cool.
We needed to be careful not to detract too much from other pieces of content as well. So when we did borrow people, it was for a week or so, or But everyone's done an absolutely huge job in giving us a hand and making sure Menaphos is as good as it could be.
And obviously, we talk about it in that sense, but it's not over. There's way more to come in the run-up to it. Of course, anyone who has the Desert Pantheon aura, you may be aware that the final boost, the final aura,
it's a sick aura, man.
The final aura benefit, which is the plus 10% rep increase, goes active from the 12th of June at midnight, I believe it is, because it's a day check, so I believe it kicks in from Monday at midnight, so you can definitely check that out, and that might come in handy. How many? It's 125 charges, isn't it? I believe it is to use. I think it is.
I think I read that.
So, which would mean you could use it a fair bit every day if you really wanted to. Another question here: why can't we use the Mask of Dust on the corrupted Dust Devils?
Oh, can we not? That's a bug.
Well, that's a bug. Okay.
I will get on that.
Can we write it down? Just to make sure we don't miss it. I can't type on these things.
Mask. Is that specifically to force them as a task, or is it to use them to stop them sapping you?
I assume double drops on every 10th kill. Yeah.
We'll sort that out, guys.
All right. In regards to that, someone suggested, can we have a Flingers fisherman in the Ports District?
So from that last one, people are saying we cannot. So I think that means that they can.
We cannot.
We cannot. As for the fish fingers, what do you think about that?
Can we allow portables to be used as well, please?
Yeah.
Please.
Portables are usable. The bank chests that you unlock with the different factions' reputations are outdoors, and you can use a portable there. And the portable boost will stack with the Menaphos XP boost as well.
Unfortunately, there's a technical reason why you can't place it on the docks in the port region. Sorry.
What?
Fix it.
I don't want to get technical on stream, but it would involve remodeling a lot of the port district to make it work. So maybe, but I wouldn't promise it.
That's fair. Can we please be allowed to kill strike worms for souls off task? Now, I've seen this come up actually a fair bit. I think people have tried to put lava strike worms in their dungeon and not been allowed. Is that correct?
So you can't do lava strike worms because obviously they're meant to be in the worldy. There's meant to be a risk to them, and that's what preserves.
Is that not terrifying? Do you not think it's a little bit terrifying for hardcore Iron Men though? in that
They
sense.
should get good then, shouldn't they?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
What Dave says, get good.
To be fair, if you're a hardcore Iron Man, come on, they you see what some of them do. They're incredible. Like they're some of our best players. So like, I say get good, but like I have faith in them.
So there's a couple of things I think would be awesome if we. I don't know if we can do them or not. So we have the portal inside. Is there a chance of having a POH portal in Menaphos at all?
Maybe.
Potentially.
Kind of close to Polnivnich.
Well,
But it's Menaphos.
I mean,
I don't want to go there. I want to go to Menaphos.
there's a lodestone.
Podonich looks really good though.
There's a lodestone, yeah. But then how do I get back to my house?
Do you want to like live in the Imperial District?
I just want to get to my house from Menaphos and play around Hasport. I think that'd be awesome. But I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know what if there are issues with doing that or anything like that. So I'm just saying off the top.
We could potentially add it, but I don't want to promise anything.
I think we kind of went off track a little bit with the strike worm question. I think no, we didn't. You just literally annihilated them, didn't you? Yeah.
On the topic of strike worms, is everyone seen Strike Worm Jim in the docks, who has my favourite voice lines of the entire expansion?
Voice lines or
no voice lines? Actual
voice lines.
So a lot of the City Quest NPCs have actual voice acting.
I need to. Yeah.
So he goes, "Are there any strike worms around here?" Like he's great.
Did you voice?
No.
Mod Deg, genius.
Mod Deg,
Mod
the voice genius, is brilliant. It's 10 out of 10.
I don't know if you're going to approve of me asking this, Days. Are we going to talk about Dark Beasts at all? Because we kind of have to say something. It's come up a fair bit.
Why not?
So let's just give an overview here so people are aware just in case of what's happened. So when the update went live, the Dark Beast's prayer protection, prayer protection against Dark Beasts went from 95 to 50%.
Yeah.
Let's go bit by bit. Why was that done?
So that appears to be just a long-standing bug. There's no law reason for it. It just seems like someone copy-pasted a wrong number and it stayed there. So we fixed it.
I assume you stumbled across it because you were going through all the Slayer NPCs for the codex, right?
And I was fixing something with the Elite Dark Beast because he just kept doing it. He could do screen back to back.
Yes.
So I fixed that to put a cooldown on it, and that's where I discovered it. At the same time, early on during Slayer 120, when we did the dev diaries, we would talk about like buffing Dark Beasts and Abbey Demons and stuff like that. And one of the things we said we would potentially buff it. Now, I thought I'd reverted all of those buffs, but I accidentally left one in, which was like the max hit increasing from 600 to
1050.
1080.
Or
You're
one
wrong.
of the two. It's 1000 plus. We know that at the very least.
It's 1080. You're wrong.
All right, you're just in that mood now. All right, that's fine.
But yeah, so we're gonna look and see what we want to do about that.
Right. Okay. There you go.
But the prayer is probably going to the prayer is going to stay the same, but the max hit will probably come down again, I reckon.
Okay. There you go. So yeah, if anyone else wants to try and add more questions, we'll try and answer what we can. But kind of obviously gone through it a fair bit. The main thing to take away from this is that we didn't want you to complete this content in 24 hours at all. It's something that we wanted to have as the months go by for you to get more, to kind of figure out the best routes as the days and days go by. And obviously we've got more stuff coming up that will, I imagine, add to that, not including, of course, the Magister.
We didn't want you to grind shifting tombs for 40 hours straight.
So, yeah, we've got stuff coming, I think is the right way of saying it, I guess. But it's safe to say, it looks absolutely gorgeous. Even on, I remember you showing me, I think it was yesterday, where you turned off the textures and how good the city still looks.
Keep your settings on ultra, keep volumetric lighting on, all of that, but just turn off textures, and it still looks really, really nice. Who knew?
But I mean, just to kind of address what you said, Mr. about the reputation being completed in a while, though, is that's not to say we're not going to listen if you guys aren't enjoying it. Like if we have had some outcry from you guys, if that continues on to the future, then we'll definitely take it forward, not only on this, but also on future expansions. If you prefer time gating or some other way of kind of gating content, please, reach out and let us know. But we thought this would be a really fair way to kind of address, our aims kind of going into this. If there's another way, if you prefer time gating, if maybe there's another way we could think of to kind of keep the content coming out sequentially, we are completely open to that. We're not going to dictate how this game, because it's our game, and we don't want to we don't necessarily want to keep going with this forward into expansions if it's not something you guys want. So please reach out, continue to reach out through social platforms, and we can see you and we are listening.
That's pretty scary.
Well, yeah, I mean, just talk to the poet in the Merchant District. Rosa Red Violet Blue. They are watching you, I think. It's something similar to that. Yeah. He actually says that.
Like we're trying to cover. I mean, we kind of been a little bit. We haven't really answered anything regarding Iron Men in that sense. Obviously, there have been a bit of discussions on Iron Men and their participation in Shifting Tombs. I don't know where we stand. I don't know where we stand on that. Do we have anything we have to say regarding that?
We're working towards.
Is it safe to say there's discussions going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So possibly grouping will be a thing. We're definitely looking at general changes specifically to Iron Man as well, just to change the balance there. But yeah, they're still in discussion at the moment. We're not sure 100% what we're going to do.
Never answered the question about strike worms or strikes off task for souls. Is it possible to get that? Yeah, they are actually.
Probably not.
It's probably not. It's not possible
because that affects a lot of other things. It has knock-on effects.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah.
Sorry about that. That we initially missed it. We just obviously got sidetracked by.
I'm seeing a lot of people asking about.
If there's anything you see, just go for it. Seriously.
I'm seeing a lot of people saying like buff the Slayer dungeon. So. One of the big issues that we're seeing is like I've seen people on Reddit go like, oh, like this is 1,000 kills and like this is my loot, and everyone's like, this is rubbish, and then when you see how long it's taken them much longer. So someone I saw killed 1,000 gorillas and they said it took them 2 to 3 hours. On our internal trials, we had one of our QAers killing 1,000 an hour. So you can sort of see the time difference. So actually like that suddenly becomes like 8 to 10 mil an hour rather than that. So I think the problem here is that we balanced the drop tables around like someone who is probably quite good at combat compared to like
very
your.
Good.
Okay, let's take a second here because obviously people are going to say what 1k an hour, etc. Let's just clarify a few things. First of all, the time trial obviously wasn't done using what we call test hit all or anything like that. This was
proper
gear setup.
Yeah, like they set up their gear, they set up their action bar, aggro parts, all those sort of things. Everything that you'd expect a normal player to do. Like this is someone in QA who has like 4 billion XP, so they're not. They know this. They know how to play RuneScape, and it seems that we actually balance the drop tables around someone that's too good compared to like the average user. So we're probably going to have a look at the drop tables. I'm not going to promise anything yet because I've got to work on the Magister fight first. But there are definitely things we can do to make it so it's probably better for the average user. But at the same time, I want to say that like if you feel disheartened by the drops, then know that there are strategies for increasing your kills per hour. You can push those numbers up.
But you did mention how if you toggle off the chest, it's a 20% chance to get a better drop, right?
Yeah, this was with the chest on.
Sorry, with the chest. It's with the chest on.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. Cool. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna just double check. But I think we are all good here. So we will not be here with a stream next Tuesday, but we will be doing a special on location stream on Thursday on Facebook. I have no idea what that is. So that's going to be interesting. Why are you smiling at me? Why are you smiling? Okay, that's interesting. So yeah, so next Thursday on facebook.com/RuneScape. Is that correct, JD?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's this Thursday as well.
Oh, this Thursday as well. Okay.
Well, no, it's
this Thursday. Sorry.
This Thursday.
Oh God. Let's try that again. This Thursday on facebook.com/RuneScape, we have a special on location stream. So tune in for that. It's going to be interesting to see what that is. And in regards to the Golden Path, we're going to be having information on the news post next week about a AMAA and a forum Q&A we're looking to do on that. But apart from that, of course, please keep your feedback coming in for Menaphos because we are always looking, we are always discussing about what to do. And I can assure you that most of all, after the blood, sweat and tears these guys have put in and everyone else upstairs in the last 6 months, they're definitely not going to just ignore the content they've worked on for you. So keep that in mind because they love it just as much as you do. So thank you so much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you on Thursday on Facebook for a rather unique stream, whatever that may be. But we'll see you then. Take care, enjoy Menaphos, and we'll see you down the road.